It's time for your morning tea. It's time for your morning tea. Today's morning tea is: Am I my brother's keeper? Again, am I my brother's keeper? I want you to look to your right hand side. All of my new viewers, there is a subscribe button to your right hand side and a bell. Tap both of those. When I upload, you will receive the notifications immediately, and I pretty much upload really early in the morning, so you have all day to sip on your tea. Am I my brother's keeper? On Sunday, during our Sunday school lesson, the instructor asked us, am I my brother's keeper? And me jokingly, I said, I don't know, the jury's still out on that one. And you know what? I joked about it. But so many times we find ourselves in situations that we don't know if we want to keep our brothers or our sisters. Why? Because the weight of our situation and our journey is arduous enough. It's like, why should I take on the weight of someone else when I have weight of my own? But when what I can tell you is, on my worst days, when I'm going through something, doing something for someone else, helping someone else make it through their journey helps me. Number one, it's a distraction. I get to take time off from thinking about what my situation is. And it gives me time to regroup, because now I'm focusing on someone else. So by the time I come back to myself, I have regrouped and I've had time to think about the situation. I have time to re-strategize or take a new approach. So am I my brother's keeper? Of course I am. You have to keep your brother. You have to keep your sister. Why? Because they've kept you. Somebody has kept you. Someone has helped you make it through. Whether it's been your parents, a biological, a spiritual, or a godparent. Whether it's been your siblings, or I want to say your spouse or some type of friend. Someone has kept you. You've not been on this journey all alone the entire time. I was going to say all alone, all along. You haven't. Someone has stopped to help you get through. So, there's a saying, say, pay it forward. Pay it forward. Pay it forward. There's someone, remember, we reap what we sow. There's someone who is in a situation worse than yours, or even if it's not as bad as yours, you can help them get through. It will rejuvenate you. It will spark something in you that will say, you know what? If they can get through, then I can get through. You are your brother's keeper. Someone kept you. Keep your mind from being, becoming selfish. Focusing on yourself all the time. Because you know what? The truth is that this is not about us. What we are going through is not for us. I cannot tell you the amount of people that I had to tell my testimony to, share my life story with, who have been through worse than me. Or I tell them my story and they'll be like, oh my God, yeah, your life or what you've been through is worse than what I've gone through. How dare I think like this? And I have to get them together, because your mountain is your mountain. My mountain is my mountain. Whatever side of the mountain I was destined to go up on, what part of the journey what path of the journey or the valley I had to experience, you may not have to have, or may not have had to have that valley experience, because the people that you're going to encounter may not be the people that I encounter. So maybe my journey will help someone else get through. So like in my past, I will be transparent, I experienced molestation. So yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. I experienced molestation. And when I told someone else my story, someone came up to me, I promise you, one of my godmothers had me testify and tell her congregation of what happened to me in my past. And during the question and answer portion, no one had questions. But there were about 2 or 3 people that came up to me and said, not verbatim, but basically, thank you for being my voice, because you said what I couldn't say. Why? Because back in our days, we had to sweep that stuff up under the rug, up under the carpet. What went on in the house stayed in the house. We didn't tell anybody. We couldn't tell anybody. Now, there are people and places I want to say people who are experiencing molestation or rape or some type of abuse or anything that they need help with, there are places that they can reach out for help, and not just the police department, because people fear the police, and it's not because of a black and white thing. People fear the police because they may get their parents in trouble. They may get their family in trouble. They may get in trouble. So it's like, okay, who do I go to for safety? Who do I speak to? Who is going to be my keeper? This is what we need in our lives. We have to be able to be that safe haven for others. We have to be able to be there in the time of need for others. It's not always monetarily. It's not always financially. Sometimes people just need someone to speak to, someone just to confide in, someone just to sit next to, because your peace brings them peace. Being in your presence brings them safety. Being in your presence basically reassures them that I can get through this. Be your brothers and your sisters' keeper. It may cost you something, but I promise you, what it cost you will not cost as much as what they are going through. Whew. This week is pretty deep. I don't know why it's this deep, but trust and believe next week, hopefully it won't be this deep. Hopefully it'll be a little bit lighter, but sometimes we need stronger tea. Sometimes we have to let that tea bag sit in that hot water and let it get dark. Because when you get the cup of tea, right, when you boil the hot water, it's clear. You put the tea bag in there. If you leave it there for a moment, it's not as strong as if you leave the tea bag in there for about 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. The longer the tea bag stays inside of that hot tea or hot boiling water, the stronger it gets. And this week is pretty strong. So keep your brother, keep your sister, no matter what it costs you, because what they are going through is costing them far more than it is costing you. It's been my pleasure, and I look forward to serving you again. Ciao.